where's the magic? Let's find out. Welcome to the SeeWDW Near and Far podcast, where we explore perspectives of the Walt Disney World Resort from 10 to 1,000 miles away. I am Mike, the far in this equation.
And I'm John, the near.
All right, today we're going to talk a little bit about the Disney magic. I understand that is kind of a common thing for a lot of people to, a lot of podcasts to talk about, but we're going to try and take a little bit different perspective. We're just not going to go all negative. We're just going to look at it from, a very fair-minded perspective. I think that a lot of people are just going up and down, left and right, saying, the Disney magic's gone. And I don't think we necessarily think that it's completely gone, do we, John? I mean,
it's definitely getting harder to find.
It is, but we're going to talk a little bit about where we find it and where we don't find it at this point and what is going on. So, okay, but first, John, how did your week in the parks go?
Well, my week in the parks, last Sunday, I believe I went to Horror Nights. I'm pulling up my pictures here. Yep, I went to, sorry. This is the problem with doing stuff on YouTube. I'm still not quite used to it. Last Sunday we went to Horror Nights, and I am going to share my screen. I kind of tried to imitate what I did the week before. So we went early. We got to park, fairly uneventfully, and went to Islands of Adventure. But this time, though, I don't think we actually went on any rides in Islands of Adventure. I think last Sunday we did the podcast, and so we talked a lot about what was open at Islands of Adventure. And so I decided that I wanted to go there and basically take a look and see what was open. And I know we had talked about the Hulk, and it turns out that, as I got there, the Hawk was actually running. I got there and was surprised to see, because I really did hear that they were having problems with the Hulk. It literally got flooded, like this tunnel that you can see right here that they're going in. Mm-hmm. That was filled with water during the hurricane. And between that and the wind, I heard they had a lot of issues to take care of. But again, it was open, so I was glad to see that. And then I walked back to look at Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls, and as you can see, that was not open. And I don't know exactly what happened with this. I do know it is a very complex ride, a lot going on in there. So, it's a lot of moving parts. And when you look at this ride, like, you can see there is just the parts you can't see. It's just amazing how much is actually going on in that ride, and how long it is and how many different parts there is, and how the water works. It was amazing, because as you can see, some of the water is still working, but that's more the decorative water, and I think the water for the ride is maintained separately. So
it does look like it's a little dirty, right? I mean,
I guess, but like I said, I think normally they do keep the water separated to some level, and it's not really dirty. It just looks like
Oh,
Like the water itself is clear, and they put a lot of chlorine in this stuff too, so it's not
yeah.
gonna. It's not there. There won't be anything living in Dudley Do Rights, that's for sure. But anyway, I was sad to see that that's not going, but everything else was. I mean, uh, this is the other Popeye and Bluto's Build Your Rats was going. I so I didn't really go on any rides there. I just went over, took a quick look at islands just to see what was going on. On the way out, there's some construction walls over in Marvel's Superhero Island, and it made me think. I really like the comic book Hulk a lot more than the Hulk they have now. It's like the Hulk they have now is what is he? Nice Hulk, Doctor Hulk,
Smart
Smart
Hulk.
Hulk.
Yeah.
It's like I when I was a kid, there was David Banner, and then this was the Hulk. He's not gonna. He wasn't too nice, but anyway, I like seeing the classic characters. They have Storm up on the wall. She was always a great character, but just nice to see them putting the comic versions. It just reminded me that you know I definitely enjoy that. So then we went over to um, Halloween Horror Nights, and this time I'm trying to think what houses we did. I don't even remember it. We're getting to that point of the year where I'm finding it difficult to remember. I know I did Chupacabra was one of them,
Hmm.
and I liked that one more. Actually, I think I did Chupacabra. I did the uh, the prison one. I forget the name of it, and we did the Witches Coven one. And I can tell you, those are three of my least favorite ones, but they all got a lot better than they were. Meaning, over time, they tend to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And I was impressed with how much more I liked them than the first time. It was, towards the beginning of Horror Nights, the first time I saw them. I didn't really get any footage inside any of the houses, but
Yeah, I mean, remember that Chupacabra house scored pretty high with me, but I remember you weren't really enamored by it too much.
no, I really wasn't that impressed by it when I went through. But again, I think I went through during a shift change or something. So, but again, we didn't do. We did three houses, and it was 7:49 p.m. as we
Mhm.
are walking out. So I say that a lot, but I bought frequent fear with Express, and it's expensive, but this is the reason why I get to go to Horror Nights. I visit a few houses, and I'm home by 8:30. And 8:30, you just can't beat that. It's not a big night out, but I would rather have a bunch of small night outs than one, being at the park for 12 hours and being there till 2:30 in the morning. I'm not a fan of that. I'm
Yeah.
a old guy, I guess. I'm not. But even when I was a young guy, I still would have preferred that. So. But anyway, that's about it for Universal. I did want to mention, against my better judgment, we bought a 9.5 foot werewolf, which you can see here. This is at my house. I wanted to mention that. See the moon?
I see that. That's great.
And he howls, and you can't see it, but his eyes have projection eyes, and they literally, they're it's an impressive animatronic. But yeah, he's 9.5 feet tall, howling at the moon. So I
I
guess
I have
for
to say I also made a bad purchase. Actually, this morning I went to Lowe's on my way home, and before we hopped on the podcast, there I had to pick something up at Lowe's that I had already pre-ordered, and I jumped in there and we kept looking at that haunted mansion blow up the Doom buggy. They have a doom buggy with the ghosts, the hitchhiking
Mhm.
ghosts inside of it. And I kept looking at it and I almost bought it a couple times. Well, it's on clearance now because they're trying to clear out their Halloween stuff. And I made it. I did it. I admit it. I bought a cheesy blow up thing,
Well,
haunted
I'm
mansion.
interested in getting some more of these kind of things because you can't see it here, but my neighbor back here, he's got a giant 9.5 foot pumpkin. Yeah, there you can see him a little bit back there. He didn't have the lights on this night because he glows like an orange. So, between the two of us, now we have two 9.5 foot monsters in our yard. So I really want to get more. I think that would be a cool thing, and why not a couple more friends? So I'm going to be on the lookout for after Halloween because he was
Yeah.
$400, which
Yeah.
is a lot of money. So I think after Halloween, I'm going to look in to see if any of those are left at on sale. So, but and here's a clip of the new Beacons of Magic show at Epcot. Yeah, this is the one they did for the 40th anniversary. So for anybody that
That's so
wonders,
good.
and we talked about that last week, but this is basically the full screen version of it. And this is my trip. I believe it was on Wednesday that I went.
Man, I'm
Yes,
glad they're
Wednesday.
still doing it. I really am. It sounds like it's probably going to be there at least until the festival of the holidays, I'll bet.
Well, and this is a good example of our upcoming topic too, as of, where's the magic? A lot of people say the magic is gone and all that. This is one of those things that, constantly reminds me that the magic is not completely gone. So, I'm happy to say that it's not everything, all the magic isn't gone. It is getting difficult to find it. It is, you know, it's not as easy as it was, but here's an example of where you can find a little bit of magic yet.
Hmm.
So, anyway, on Wednesday, I went to the parks by myself. My wife has family in town, and so I like to go. I like to go to the parks for social media reasons at least once a week. I mean, once or twice. So I ended up going to the Magic Kingdom by myself, and I, I the Magic Kingdom lately has really been not good. Meaning, it's yeah, I don't know why that's all backwards, but the Magic Kingdom lately has been very difficult. Meaning, I went there, I got to the Magic Kingdom around 5:45, around 6 o'clock. Every single line was about 70 minutes plus, and I mean all of them. Even and I shouldn't say that. The Little Mermaid was about 50 minutes. But again, that ride is broken and unpopular, and that's 50 minutes. I went there and I rode the People Mover once, and that took about 30 minutes to ride that. And the park was just unbearable. And I had a new camera that I really wanted to test for low lighting. So I'm here by myself. Everything's unrideable. I don't have lightning lane. So I went and I got on the monorail to Epcot. And that's probably around 7 o'clock. I got on the monorail to Epcot. Yep, well, 7:40. And the nice thing about the monorail at a weird time like this, this is not a travel time typically. is you can literally get a monorail card to yourself, which is what I did here, which was kind of an awesome experience. You're on the monorail, looking outside. It was really cool. And again, the Magic Kingdom was terrible, but this monorail ride was a lot of fun. By
Mhm.
myself, like the scenes. It's just it was a very beautiful, memorable ride. So I went to Epcot, and Spaceship Earth was about a 0-minute wait. I
Hmm.
basically walked right up and rode Spaceship Earth, no problem. So I did that. I watched the Beacons of Magic show, and then I was parked at the Magic Kingdom parking lot. So then I went back, and I decided why not go over to the Magic Kingdom and get some fireworks views because I'm never around at that time. I'm by myself. So, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go get some clips of the fireworks. Well, I got to the Magic Kingdom, and I don't think I have much video footage of it, but it was unbearably crowded,
Hmm.
meaning I could not see the castle. And then the fireworks started to go off. Like in the past, I remember I was able to, you walk in somewhere in the I don't know what they call it, the train station area, the hub down there. You could always find something. It may not be the best view, or you could walk up Main Street and find a place. Main Street is pretty big. I've always been able to find a place on Main Street somewhere, meaning, you walk up. I'm only one person. I don't need the best view. All I need is a small square to stand on anywhere. I literally could not see any fireworks. I walked up Main Street. The only places available were behind trees, like there not even an edge somewhere. I couldn't see half the fireworks. I couldn't lean in. It was absolutely unviewable with the amount of people there. And I ended up walking out. Like I turned around at some point and walked out, and I thought to myself, I'm going to enjoy the walking path at this point. And so, that's basically I walked out, and I got some clips outside of the fireworks, like in front of the train station and stuff, and that was pretty cool. Although they're not real high above it, but it's an interesting perspective. But again, I literally could not watch the fireworks from anywhere without being there to wait first. Like that was absolutely disappointing. And I've been living here since 2017, and I don't think it's ever been like that. It really has never been that way. Like I've always been, you might not have a good place to watch it, but you can always watch it somewhere where you can see it. And and I had that experience at the Christmas party that I went to as well. I literally could not. I luckily my wife found a decent spot, but you could not even walk past anything to find a spot. So it was just crowded, so crowded with people that it was unbearable. But I did want to tell you, I did find a cool spot. I was on the walking path completely by myself, and look how beautifully you can see the fireworks.
Oh yeah.
Well, of course, that's. I was looking for something else, but anyway, you can see the fireworks perfectly from the walking path. You can hear the music in the distance, and there is nobody. Look, I looked down the path to show you. There is nobody there.
Hmm. And you're going to get a
Yep.
monorail view every once in a while too, because that's the monorail
Yep.
track right there.
Yep. That's true. I did get that, and I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Like it's yeah. Look at that. As I'm
Yeah.
walking, you can just see.
Yeah, it
the
looks awesome.
explosions and stuff. I can honestly tell you that I enjoyed I enjoyed this a heck of a lot more than I did the actually trying to go to the Magic Kingdom. It's funny. I definitely do have the monorail too doing it, but of course I can't find that anywhere. But yeah, the view from there, it's pretty darn nice. It really, really is. I feel like this is one that I already did. But anyway, I highly recommend going to viewing it from the walking path. Yeah, it's funny. I literally have a video between the palm trees with the monorail going by, and I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it's not there. Maybe it didn't get uploaded yet. But anyway, that's not important. It's the important part is I did get to see the fireworks, and from the walking path, they're pretty amazing. And from there, we walked. I shouldn't say way. I was by myself. I walked back to the uh, the normal my normal route, which I really enjoy because it makes me feel better at the end of the night to get a nice walk. And so I went through the Grand Floridian. Nice to see that all lit up. But here's where it gets a little interesting. I had no idea, but you know how they got rid of the luau and they're
Hmm.
building a new DVC resort.
Yeah.
Well, to my surprise, well, actually, they didn't tell you anything. You walk up, and it's just a big fabric wall, and there's nothing there. So I walked out to the exit of the parking lot of the Polynesian, and then I saw a sign. So I literally had to walk across the road. And again, they didn't tell me this. I was going to break the rules and just go walking, but you can see I'm across the street now, just walking by the lake in the dark. Like it was really weird. I'm walking around in the dark out by the road at
Yeah.
Disney.
Look at that.
Again, I didn't even know I could do it because I was just literally going to walk along this road if I had to because I wasn't about to go back and wait for their transportation. So I would sooner walk in the middle of the road if I had to. So, I did that. It did take me back across the street to the Polynesian again, and it was just in the dark of the Polynesian. Like I wasn't even sure where I was, but it's a Disney resort, so I found my way back eventually. But I thought that was a little exciting. I got to explore a bit and try to find where the heck I was and how to get back. And I'm glad they did this because before they literally just closed the path. And like I said, my wife and I had went and walked through the weeds by the side of the road and walked to the Polynesian instead like that. So I guess they figured people are going to do it regardless. We better make a clear path for them to go, which is cheap. It's cheaper than hiring someone to stop us, I guess.
Oh, sure.
So anyway, I went to the Polynesian. I wanted to get a dessert there. That they have a dessert that I really like, and the place that they have to do that was closed. So
Hmm.
the Pineapple Lanai was open, but for some reason, it's the place that's right next to the monorail station by the Kona Cafe. They have a place where you can get coffee or snacks or whatever. And there's a snack that I like there, but they closed. And the other thing is, I was planning on getting gas at the gas station that's right by the Auto Care Center by the Magic Kingdom.
Hmm.
And it was it was around a little after 10 o'clock by the time I got there, and it was closed. So yeah,
Oh.
my gas light was on by the time I got home. But why the heck would Disney, or whoever runs the gas stations, why would they close a gas station? The park is open till 11. Cast members are going to be there till who knows how late. The amount of traffic that's going by that gas station yet is enormous for the night. And to close it before the parks, that is just weird. Like, I don't get that at all. Like, in my mind, I was like, it's going to be open at least till midnight. That'd be the minimum. No, it was closed. So
You
just
would have thought at least till 11 o'clock, or
yeah, I
with the people leaving the parks, you would think they'd want that business, right?
yeah, I guess like in my mind, after park closing would be one of the times where you see it the most. So yeah, I thought that was a little bit odd,
Hmm.
but what can you do? So yeah, that's it for the parks. I went home from there, and that is about it. I was just trying to find my monorail one because I really do like that. I know I have it here somewhere. I think it's
It's a
the one
great
before.
that is a great view though.
Nah,
Maybe it just didn't upload right or
nah, yeah, I don't. I definitely have it, but yeah, I don't want to.
just
But
didn't
yeah,
upload right yet off of your phone.
yeah, that's all right. So anyway, it was an interesting night, but the only ride I went on was Spaceship Earth. I spent most of the time, or no, and the Tomorrowland Transit Authority. I spent most of the time traveling back and forth, and the most enjoyable part happened to be uh, the travel time. So not the actual park. So
Yeah.
I have to
Walk.
say, the Magic Kingdom, I have no desire to go back there unless I have a lightning lane, and even then, it's just so bad. I saw lightning lanes just backed up. So
I saw where you were responding to somebody on social media that night where it said somebody had mentioned to you because you had did a live, I think, at Magic Kingdom, and
yeah,
they said, "Are you at Horror Nights tonight?" And you said, "No, but I probably should have been," or something like that. And I was
yeah, I
thinking,
basically thought I
"Yeah,
should be because I had a pass for Horror Nights. I could have went there just as easily. And yeah, it honestly probably would have been a lot more fun to do.
you probably would have got more done." Uh, you know,
So yeah, just remember if it's a random Wednesday in the beginning of October, the Magic Kingdom may be unbearably packed. It's like, yep, that's
So I'm thinking that maybe it's because some of the schools down south there have fall break going on, and
mm,
over the last couple weeks, like my nephew just had fall break. I think 2 weeks ago, and so I'm wondering if that's not why it's been so busy.
I don't. I honestly don't think so. I think you can. I've heard people rationalize for years as to why it's unbearably busy all the time. And you can always apply something. It's kind of like when the stock market goes down or up, they always say because of this, because of that. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it just to me, it doesn't seem all that related. As related as they like to think it is.
All right. Well, John, let's get into our discussion then. Where has the magic gone? Right? I mean, a lot of people talk about the Disney magic as we said earlier, and kind of frame it lately in a negative light that it's completely gone. And I think you and I would both agree that we don't believe it's completely gone. I think that's just like in this world that we live in, everything is just like absolute, it's absolute one way or absolute another way. But I think there is some middle ground, and maybe we can explore that middle ground a little bit today. But what do you think, John, about the magic? Why do you think people are getting fairly negative with the with that statement?
Well, I don't necessarily think people are getting. Um, I think it has a lot to do with. I think it just has a lot to do with Disney overall. I mean, I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. That's nice, but as a local, I can tell you that the magic is much less for me right now,
Hmm.
and it's not necessarily gone though, which is why I wanted to mention that. And my most recent trip was a good example. The Magic Kingdom was not fun. Um, I was able to get a few, nice pictures and things like that. But overall, it was not a fun experience at all. So, again, for me, the magic. The magic of the Magic Kingdom, at least, did have a bit of it is a little bit gone, but I did get on the monorail though and go to Epcot, and Beacons of Magic was still pretty good. Like I really enjoyed that, and it did. The monorail ride and going to Epcot kind of saved it for me. It's not the it's not the best way to look at it, but and I guess we could talk about some of the negative parts. I forgot to mention we ate at Cosmic Rays, and this was a couple of weeks ago, and there was literally food all over the floor, like entire chicken nuggets on the floor, just napkins, garbage. The walls were I don't know what you call it. It's that look when people with dirty hands touch things a lot.
Yeah.
And you could see the dirt on the walls and the garbage on the floor. And there were cast members around that were literally stood there from the time we sat to the time we left. They didn't clean any table, they didn't pick anything up. And again, I don't know, maybe it wasn't their job, I guess. Like I'm assuming that somebody else's job was to do that. I don't know. But I can tell you they did not come in that day if it was the case. And Sunny Eclipse wasn't playing because they had the Halloween party signage up, and I guess they can't make him go up and down. So I think if Sunny Eclipse would have been there, my focus would have went more to him instead of what am I stepping on? Like
Yeah.
what's all over the head? And my wife agreed. She basically said, this is just gross. Like, this is not Disney standards at all. Like, not even close. And I know they can't always, when things get really busy, it gets overwhelming, this and that. But this felt like it felt like Six Flags, like, hey, who cares? Just sit in your own pile of garbage and eat. And I found it kind of gross, and I've never felt that way at Disney. Like that, you're just in a dirty place, and it's just gross. And again, I sat close to a wall, and it had brown dirt smudges all over everything. And again, I don't have any pictures to show you. I didn't think, oh yeah, I'm gonna document this. And again, I have no reason to make it up. And if you don't believe it, I don't really care either. So it's just one of those things that I'm sure other people have noticed it too. You go around, garbage cans are overflowing. That's a new normal thing at Disney. The food quality is getting more and more suspect. I'm finding myself eating there less and less, like things that I did like. I'm not really bothering anymore. There are still some good things, and I just talked about Citrico's a couple of weeks ago. Still unbelievably good. I can't wait to go back there again. But overall, though, I'm noticing things like the Garden Grill. They used to give you turkey. Now they give you chicken, and not just chicken. A lot of the parts of the chicken that normally people don't want. So they're like taking the chicken legs and like shredding it and trying to make it present it in a different way. I'm like, man, the accountants are descending on the restaurants now. And again, that's not necessarily magic. The Garden Grill was still unbelievable. The food was not as good as it was before, but that was one of the that's one of the examples I have to say when people say the magic is gone. Well, I was I was at the Garden Grill, and the cast members there, that the friends of the characters, the waitress, our waiter, they brought the magic in a big way. So again, I can agree with a lot of the people who say, "Oh, the magic is dead, it's gone." They're definitely working on that. And but I can also say that I still keep finding it, which is why I keep going back. And I was going to say you must have similar thoughts because you recently renewed your annual pass, and I can't imagine that that was a small decision with the price of annual passes and the amount of traveling you have to
Yeah.
do.
Well, yeah, for us being out of staters, I mean that equation is pretty heavy. I mean it's a lot more money for out of state annual passes people, and we don't have we have to pay it all at once. We can't
Mm.
break it up in installments. The other part of it is that you know uh yeah, travel costs are big. That is it is a big equation, and vacation days spending on that we can't just go after work. We have to do a whole planning routine. So my experience, and what I would say, I agree with you. I think I've noticed the garbage situation in every trip since the pandemic, to be honest with you. And the garbage situation has just gotten really bizarre, particularly around the restrooms, in Magic Kingdom especially.
Yeah.
But I would say that has kind of gotten out of hand. I'm not sure why, but I will say another thing to that, John, and it's not just the cast members. I think the guests are different. I think the guests have some responsibility here with like the smears on the walls and throwing stuff on the floor. I mean, there's some responsibility on the guest side here. I don't know what's going on. That I mean, it's not like you're bringing in like the Wild Boys or something. I mean, it costs a lot of money to go to Magic Kingdom, so you would think like those people, or to go to Disney World, you'd think those people um would have some manners and not just feel like throwing trash all over the ground, or come from like a place where they actually have respect for their
Well,
surroundings, and people don't. I mean, I've seen people throwing crap everywhere, and maybe that's part of the company too. Maybe they feel, oh, I'm paying all this money now, I'm just gonna do, you know what
well,
I mean? But
in my opinion, it part of it may also be um, if there's already garbage everywhere, then I guess it's not that important, right? It's like maybe I'll
that's
just leave my cup sitting there. There's already
yeah,
garbage on the ground right next to it. I don't
it's a
know.
great point.
Again, that's not a good way to look at things, but I
No, but
mean,
it's valid. It's a valid reasoning. I mean, if it's there, people have a tendency to follow the crowd, right? I mean, look how they go to rides. Like if everyone goes in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction to ride a ride, everyone's going to Tomorrowland or Frontierland, right? I mean,
I've been talking about it for a long time now, and I do hear other people beginning to talk about it too. But the cast members have, not all of them, but many of the cast
yeah.
members have, they don't have much magic in them. a lot of them seem like they don't like the guests, they don't like the
Hmm.
company, they don't like their job. They're just there for a paycheck and they're going to do as little as possible. And again, I don't know if that's generational. I don't know if it's because of pay or whatever, but before people worked at Disney because they loved Disney, they loved the theme park. And I've never worked there, but I always imagined if I did, I would want to act accordingly. And my main thing wouldn't be me, it would be that I don't want to make the company look bad. I want to represent the company and keep that magic going. And I know my wife did work there for a few years, and she got many guest compliments for creating magic and stuff. And again, I just don't see it that much. But then again, I'm not a little kid too, so they're not going to be like, "Oh, here's a middle-aged guy. let's
Yeah.
let's create some magic for him." It's like that doesn't really happen a lot. But I can say the Garden Grill, they made it a point to include me in everything, even though I'm a grumpy-looking old guy, just probably sitting there not making eye contact. Mickey came right up and he gave me a greeting. He shook my hand. They gave me a hug, all this stuff. And I'm like, man, they went out of their way to include
Yeah.
the uh, the introverted guy who didn't want to interact. They made sure I did. So I was very happy about that. And
Yeah.
again, I only have a few experiences recently that the magic is there, but I still say too the walking path from the Magic Kingdom to the parking lot. For me, that's magic. I'm the
Yeah.
only one there, but I love it.
But that's a important point though. I mean, it sounds like something simple that, we can just look at and say, whatever. But a lot of it's based on your perspective, right? I mean, your perspective is that, hey, that made me feel a certain way. And so the magic in some essence, while it is partially the cast members that help create that, the company that helps create that, the Imagineers that help create that, it's also part of your perspective, what you find enjoyment in and what you find, what you're taking out of each experience. Obviously, when you have full overflowing trash bins and dirty bathrooms and restaurants and stuff, that's going to affect your magic a little bit. But that night you just said about Magic Kingdom, it was busy and it was crowded, but you know what? Here's a great perspective from the walking path of the fireworks,
Mhm.
and the monorail is coming by, and those are
Well,
things that you find, magical in
I
your
have to say
experience.
though, if you're just going to the park and you want to go on the rides and do all the normal experiences, it's got to be hard.
Oh
You
yeah.
really have to be. You've got to be one of those people that just keeps a good positive outlook, even though you keep getting knocked back and wait and more delays and problems, and just keep that smile going. Because,
Yeah.
and again, I wish I could do that more, but as a local, I just don't have that in me anymore. I'm
Well,
not a
yeah, I often think, is this just a plussed out Six Flags now with some of the experiences? If you can't get on the rides and you got to wait in long lines or pay for like a fast pass type thing, is it basically just like a Six Flags or Hershey Park at this point with some pluses, and some shows? I mean, I don't know the answer to that. For me, it isn't because I do have the experience of going to the parks often. But for some people, especially the people that go there for the first time, wonder what they
well,
even think at this point. If you can't get on the rides, you come, you pay all that
oh, I
money. You
couldn't
probably
imagine.
don't know about Genie Plus or My Disney Experience
Even if
very
even
much.
if you do though, you can't ride everything with that when it's crowded. I know with lower crowds it works much better, but there's no limit to how many of those that they sell. And so imagine you bought Genie Plus and you got it for certain rides, but the ones you couldn't get it for, you're going to be waiting for an awful long time.
Right.
And again, I just I'm gonna try Genie Plus again. I think uh, maybe next month. I'm gonna try it. If the Magic Kingdom is open on the 17th, I'm gonna get it just by myself. I'm gonna go and see how many rides I can get. But if there's a Christmas party or a Halloween party, that's not gonna work. But I do want to try stacking again, and I'm gonna try it by myself. But again, it didn't work so well the last time I tried it, but I do want to give it another shot because again, that's the big missing thing. I went to the Magic Kingdom and the rides were extremely long waits, and I could not see the fireworks. So it's like,
That's a
and
lot of magic there.
I'm not going to wait in a crowd of people, for an hour or so to watch fireworks because the amount of anger that would probably that I probably end up feeling when people step right in front of me at the last second, so I still can't see. I just wouldn't be able. I would probably storm out anyway. And again, some of that's my own problem. I'm short, so I always seem to have the tall people come and stand right in front of me, and I'm like, oh.
Or the people that put the kids on their shoulder or
Well,
something
the
like that.
kids is all right, I guess. Usually they get tired after a
Yeah.
while and put them down, but just being short is difficult for fireworks watching, And I'm not the shortest guy, but I'm short enough that there's always some tall person that I can't quite see around. So again, I'm not going to wait because I don't think I'd be able to handle that well. But
Yeah, I
another thing I
don't.
wanted to talk about though too,
Mhm.
on top of the entire food items all over the floor, garbage not being picked up, um, lack of service in general. We also have rides deteriorating with
Yeah.
no seem. They don't seem to be concerned about it at all.
Mhm.
And I think the new Little Mermaid ride is one of the biggest offenders there. Um, I don't remember the seagull's name, but um, the seagull from the Little Mermaid is supposed to be in the queue. He's
Yeah,
been
it's
gone for
gone.
months. Like he would be out there talking in the queue. He's just been gone for months and months. I hear that the crab game that's in the queue too, many of them don't work anymore.
Hmm.
Um, the last time I rode the ride, it broke down probably, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 times. It was not enjoyable at all because it stopped and it stopped and it stopped. And the time before that, the we saw some of the ride vehicles were faced the same way the entire time. So they had these people riding, looking backwards, looking at things they're not supposed to be looking at. And I'm like, and again, that's one we do a lot, which is why it's an example that I use because we could get on that without an extreme wait. But even that has been a 30-minute plus wait lately again. And again, it's broken. There's many parts that are broken and they're not getting fixed. They just don't seem to care. And another good example is Spaceship Earth. It got to
Hmm.
the point where it stops so often and then you hear these loud mechanical grinding sounds like it sounds that should not be coming out of there. And again, I've heard from around property that they're just not spending money on maintenance anymore. I ride the dinosaur ride. So many of the animatronics aren't doing anything anymore. They're just broke. And it's like, oh, they're broke. What are you going to do? A Bug's Life, Hopper, I don't think he's back yet.
When
He
was the
was the
last
most,
time he even worked?
I don't know, but he was the most interesting part of Tough to Be a Bug. I would always sit on that side just because Hopper was such a good animatronic. He's not coming out anymore. And again, I don't know. The amount of people there is a lot. Like meaning, I've been going to Disney 2 to 3 times a week for the past 5 years. Um, Crowds are not down. Prices are up. They're making a lot of money. So I'd like to know what in the heck are they doing with this money, and why aren't you maintaining the rides? Why aren't you cleaning the restaurants? Like I yeah, it's definitely not. I can honestly say the thought of going back to cosmic rays, I just don't. Not that it was all that great before, but I always loved to watch cosmic rays. I literally makes me feel nauseous to think of just food all over the ground. Like you don't have food all over the that in Florida, that's how you get bugs,
Yeah.
like and rats and everything else. And no matter what Disney tries, they can't get rid of all that stuff. You can't leave that stuff out there like that. So in my mind, bad stuff is coming for restaurants because you can't just let that stuff sit there. I wouldn't do that in my own house. If there's food items, you better pick that up because those bugs find a way. They'll get in there. So you can't give them a reason. So again, if they don't have bugs coming in from that kind of thing, then you're sitting in a pile of poison because that's the only thing that's going to stop them would be really intense poison. So either way, I'm not liking the outlook. You got to keep that stuff clean. You don't want to sit in poison, and you don't want bugs come in with food sitting all over the place. And I wonder if I should do it sometime. I would have loved to have said, I'd like to talk to, I don't know, a coordinator, a leader, somebody in charge of something and just say, how does this happen? Because I see people all around doing nothing. And I guess it's not their job, but how does this happen exactly? And just a question. Like there could be a good explanation,
I
but
don't know.
from my perspective as a guest, I see people doing nothing, nothing, nothing. Horrible environment. It's like if I worked there, unless I wasn't allowed to, I think I'd be like, I better clean this up. This is not good. It's not looking good for the company or me. Like we need to. I don't know.
That's
That's
what I
how
was
I,
gonna say though. Maybe they're not allowed to because of a union rule or something. You know how some of the unions kind of, this person has this set of rules and this person gets upset if you fall, if you
yeah.
wander into
There
their
is a lot of unions
responsibility.
there. I
I'm
always
wondering if
thought
that
that
is
like
it.
management, I used to see management going around picking up garbage all the
Yeah,
time, and
me too.
they used to push that a lot because they always said, Walt Disney would go into the parks,
Hmm.
and he was an old guy, and he would be late scooping up that garbage and making sure. He said nobody is above this. You have to keep the parks looking clean. That was a major tenet of Walt's philosophy. You got to
Hmm.
have clean parks. It's like the minimum you can do. So it's one of those things you get an expectation of. I when I go to Disney parks, I do have expectations, and I guess I didn't even know I had them until I saw they weren't doing it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is
And
not right.
as far as the cast members go, I think it's kind of a mixed bag sometimes because sometimes you have this like we went to Trattorio, how do you say it, Alforne or
Mhm.
whatever at the boardwalk this past time. And this last trip, and our server went above and beyond and was just excellent. I mean, I gave a cast compliment, and that's one thing I do if I run into some service some server providing service that makes me feel like this cast member went above and beyond or tried to create magic. I always do the cast compliment. And this past time, a couple times, I did a couple times, but there were a few I felt somewhat disinterested cast members. And I mean, given their state of pay and things like that, I kind of get that. But that's kind of the point. I mean, again,
Honestly,
is it
the pay,
turning into Six Flags? I
I would
mean,
say the pay was never good though. And even now, the pay is pretty darn good compared to other places like, uh, small businesses in Florida. You're lucky to make like $10 or $11 an hour. They just
mhm,
don't have the money to pay. Disney pays. What do they pay right now? I think
I'm
they
not
pay
sure.
pretty good. I'm sure it's like 15, 16, something like that. So in the big scheme of things, they're still better than a lot of places. My wife manages a kids salon, and she's had multiple people leave and go work for Disney because they just can't compete with pay.
Mm-hmm.
Like Disney can pay a lot more, and there's the fringe benefits too of park entrance and tickets and things like that. So, but anyway, there's with Disney, it's more than the hourly rate because they don't need to buy an annual pass like you. They can get their family in a certain amount of times a year. They get big discounts. They get the health benefits are great at Disney. So there's a lot of things. Like when my wife got offered a job there again, there was a lot of stuff for us to consider beyond hourly rate. It's like, oh, well, they get so much per hour. It's like, well, that's all well and good, but the other stuff matters too. So anyway, I just feel like a lot of people are working there right now that don't actually like it that much. Is the feeling that I get. For them, it's just a job, and technically it is just a job, but a lot of the people who worked it would work it because they always wanted to be part of it. So
Mm-hmm. I as far as like the what you find magical, I think you kind of the beacons of magic for Epcot is really cool. Like that creates sort of magic, particularly when they do things like the Muppets overlay or the the 40th anniversary thing. But you always, when you go into that, like the 40th anniversary and to some degree the 50th anniversary last year, didn't you go into it sort of expecting to see like a I don't know, a tribute to the parks or something, at least with the 50th anniversary, and you really didn't get that. You didn't get that at all, so that kind of screwed up that magic, I think. This year they seemed to learn their lesson with the Epcot Beacons of Magic, but they still didn't do a tag on the show.
yeah, that too. It is a shame that they did more to celebrate Epcot's 25th, Epcot's 30th, Epcot's 35th. The 40th was the least they've done so far. It literally
Well, they've
was.
created an expectation with those, right? And the fans expected something bigger with the 50th, something bigger with Epcot's 40th, and they didn't deliver, which maybe speaks more to the cost cutting and the way management even looks at the fans at this point, and I think that hurts the magic a little bit. John, something we're looking down Main Street right now, and something else that I think kind of killed the magic a little bit. Remember the Main Street Bakery at one point was Disney run, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it had a certain appeal to it from that standpoint. Like you walked in there and it just gave you a feeling of old timey, like small town bakery in the middle of America, right? And then they gave it to Starbucks, and now they've given it to who, like I think a mixture of Starbucks and Mars candies or whatever. I mean, things like that have kind of changed that part of the atmosphere. So there's things
Yeah.
like that have, I don't know.
Well, yeah. I was going to say the Main Street Confectionery, since
Right.
they redid it to make it better, I have not liked it as much. I don't really go in there at all anymore. It's Mars products all over the
Yeah.
place. So again, I like Mars products just fine, but I don't need to buy them from Disney. I don't need to spend $40 on M&Ms. But
No.
they used to make the Rice Krispie treats, the big ones there.
Right.
And if you went early, you could put in an order to have it like whatever you wanted, dipped in chocolate, add some whatever on it, and it would be about $20. And you pick it
Hmm.
up on the end of the night, and I have such fond memories of getting fresh, huge Mickey treats that I would eat throughout my vacation then. And I was like, man, I love the Main Street Confectionery. And we would always go in there and we'd wait at that little counter. And my wife and daughter would get some treats there. And I I have a lot of fond memories of it, and now the new setup, yeah, I feel like it's not just the setup; they don't have the same stuff
No,
anymore, and
it's be
I
like,
don't really like it. And I've gone in there many times, and half the cashiers don't have anyone. Even it's like I I don't know why you would take something everybody loves and say let's just yeah let's make it completely different. It's
yeah.
like I can see that if there's a problem with it there, and again they change things for higher capacity and stuff, but it usually doesn't seem to work out as well as they thought it would, you know.
Well,
But
that's just it. Main Street has basically become a prettier looking look. It looks like old timey, like middle America. But if you walk into the stores and walk into the eateries, it's like a Target, really, right? It's like a Target.
yeah, except Target, they don't charge you $40 for M&Ms.
No, they don't. It's like an overpriced Target.
I
But
don't know.
I mean, I don't mean to go totally negative, and that's not there. There are a lot of magical things um, at at Disney currently. I mean, the transportation, like the monorail, the
Uh, yeah, the
Skyliner.
Skyliner, to me, that's magic too. You don't even have
Me
to pay
too.
to get on that, and I
Right,
find that just so I don't know. It's something that I don't go on anywhere else. I'm
right.
never on a gondola in the sky anywhere except when I go to Disney. And I know there's
The
other
boats
ones.
too, right?
If
The
you go
boats.
skiing and stuff, you might go on that kind of thing. But
The boats too.
oh
Like you
yeah,
always say, you say, "Well, I'm a Pennsylvania boy. I didn't really get
oh
on the boats very often."
yeah, and to try to keep it balanced to some point, the resorts too.
Mhm.
Their resorts are still wonderful to
I was
visit.
gonna say
Most of
that.
them.
I was
And
gonna mention that.
again,
Yeah.
Pop Century, that food court is in a sad state, but I still love Pop Century
Yeah.
though. All the resorts are just beautiful. We were at Port Orleans French Quarter a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
Beautiful. The food was good. The beignets were awesome. Just a beautiful little resort to visit. So for
Yeah.
me, that's still magical. But if I was paying five or $10,000 to go on a vacation, I wouldn't be real happy if they're like, "Wow, too bad. Go to the resort. The rides are full." I'd be like, "What?"
That's true. I mean,
So
if you're on your first time vacation, you're not creating magic at the
yeah,
resort. Although
that's.
that is the gateway though, right? That's the gateway to the park. So that is your first that kind of primes
Well,
you.
I was gonna say perhaps too. The new people going are fine with the way it is, and
Could be.
my memory of not having to deal with it like this is what's making it have no magic for me, you
Yeah.
know? So, again, maybe in this picture you see here, all these people, maybe they think this is great. And, they have to stay here for the next hour to wait for the fireworks, but that's fine because that's all they've ever known and they think it's great. So, again, that could be. I'm not.
So I remember a time where you and I were discussing during the pandemic. Man, we really missed the crowds. And the crowds came
Oh, yeah,
back.
yeah,
And
it's
do you
true.
remember that? We were like, man,
Yeah.
we missed the crowds. And they sure came back. I will say, like going to a place like the boardwalk on property,
Mm.
walking around the boardwalk, um, going inside that resort is just like stepping back in time. And there's a lot of magic in that, in doing that, in my opinion. Looking in that animation, that thing where you got to turn the crank and it shows the moving pictures and things. That's really cool. So there's little things like that I think are still magical. And I think it's there. It's just that you got to look a little harder for it. And I
Yeah.
think overall, that's what I would encapsulate the Disney experience right now, particularly for people like you and I who have been there so many times. And it's even harder for you because you can go there every week, and you're seeing a steady decline in some of the things that you really value that creates magic for you. I see it more, I see it in different doses, but I mean, just look at that. You find magic in that picture, you find
Well,
magic
yeah,
in that experience. And
yeah, that's what I almost feel guilty on my social media because I try to keep it positive all the time, and so obviously I'm not putting up videos of overflowing garbage cans and things like that, but they are there. I try to find the
yeah.
beautiful spots and the really pretty things and the things that really catch my attention and put that up. But yeah, sometimes it makes me wonder though. Like,
The
hopefully, I'm
other
not misleading anybody.
No, but I mean, let's think about the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Okay, you found recently, which I knew about that. We should have discussed that before, and I should have shared that with you. But the crack in the wall where you can kind of see the train coming, that was imagineered. That was an engineered thing to create magic and create an experience for you to be able to look through there. You know what I mean? I mean, where you can kind of see the train coming at you just by that little crack in the wall, and it's kind of a hidden thing. So
Yeah, I have to say too, one of the other things that kind of brings the magic down a little bit is, when I go, I try not to even go to Epcot on like weekend nights because it is a place for people to get drunk, and drunk people do not create magic.
yeah,
They definitely don't. Even when they're not being too bad, just to hear that loud, out of control yelling and carrying on stuff. Again, even when it's fine, it kind of puts me on edge a little bit because when you're as old as I am, you can hear the drunkenness, and drunk
yeah,
people tend to cause problems. So it's one of those things that my brain is telling me maybe this is not a great place to be. There's a large group of drunk people here, which, if alcohol does not lead to a lot of good things for the most part. So, I do drink, not a lot, but I have family members too who enjoy going to Epcot to drink and things like that. I'm not against it. I'm just saying you don't look at alcohol and say, "Oh, here's the list of good things that happen because I drink a lot." It's like
yeah, right.
usually it's the opposite. It's like here's the list of things I shouldn't have done or shouldn't have said or
I
whatever.
I
Because
totally
yeah,
agree. Yeah,
I don't want to drink too much at Epcot. I just would not feel comfortable with it. But
yeah. I totally agree with that. And I think, again, I don't know what would be a good way to. How do you gatekeep that? You know what I mean? If you're going to have alcohol in the parks, how do you gatekeep? How do you prevent somebody from overdoing it? You know what I mean? I don't know if there's like a stamp or a card or something you can do. Maybe I don't know, but
yeah, I don't think there's much you can do about
I
that.
don't think there is. And again, that's like, first of all, they introduced the alcohol. That's probably the part that maybe opened up those opportunities for that. But second of all, again, responsibility lands somewhat on the guest, for that to control themselves. And but I definitely think kicking that door open, it kind of messes that magic up a little bit. I do think, but yeah, again, I think overall it's what you experience at the parks. It's your perspective, right? And you have to find it if if you want to find that magic. So um I guess if somebody was looking to not find the magic, and they wouldn't pay all that money to
Yeah,
go into the
it's
parks,
real
right?
easy to do that too. So I do
Yeah,
have a
right.
feeling that all of us undesirable
The
people,
undesirable mix.
they don't they don't really want us anyway. And that's what one of the guy I met a guy at Connections Cafe on the 40th. I think I mentioned it before. He basically said, I'm one of those undesirable guests that Disney doesn't really want here. I'm a
Yeah.
pass holder, I'm a DVC member, and I've been coming here for many years. And he said, my wife and I went to Horror Nights and spent $600. We go to Disney and we spend as little as possible because we're not appreciated anyway. So we try not to. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but again, just one of those things. I see we got a nice comment there,
Yeah.
which I would love to address that specifically,
Yeah.
but if I did, YouTube would probably put knock it down, put a bunch of uh, whatever. Like it doesn't take much for YouTube to stop you, and we already don't have momentum. The last thing I need is to get stomped down. But I can tell you that I don't support Disney as a company. I do it as little as possible. I live near Disney and I love the Disney parks. I'm not I've said it before, I'm not a huge Disney fan. Current management is absolutely awful. I don't have Disney Plus. I don't like any of the movies they're doing. As a company, I'm not a fan of them at this point. Back when I think Michael Eisner was the last guy that I really respected there. But at this point, I live right down the street from Disney World. I absolutely love the parks. And
Mhm.
again, I think it's in spite of Disney rather than because of them. I'm not one of those everything Disney does is great guys. So
Yeah.
again, I love the parks. And
Yeah.
it's in spite of how ridiculous they are and how bad they treat pass holders and everything. I just keep going back. So again, I hope Universal comes along and punches them right in the gut financially with the Epic Universe. But in
Mhm.
response to your question, all of those big companies support the
Yeah.
same stuff that Disney does, and I don't like it at all. I personally don't like it, but I can't boycott Disney and Comcast and Amazon, and basically
Walmart
I'd move
and
out in the woods. But
Target,
I can tell you that yeah, I'm not a
you know,
supporter of
your
any.
your local grocery store, your health insurance
Yeah,
company, your car insurance
yeah,
company,
the bank. It's like
the bank.
look at these people when they don't like somebody, they all get together and make you
Where's
disappear.
where's
So
the
it's
line?
like,
I mean, the airlines, the car companies, we can go on and on and on. The people that make your computers, the people that provide your internet, they're all doing that. And they do that because they feel pressure by their employees to provide those things.
oh
And
yeah,
whether
I
I
don't.
agree with it or not, I'm not going to speak on that. But
Well,
by the
I
same token, I can't like pick and choose who I'm going to support and not
Well,
support
I
based on
try
that.
my best not to support. And I was going to say, just so you know, too, I had mentioned before that my wife was offered a job back with Disney, which she would have made more money and had all those benefits again. And the way the company is and the things that they do and support, and that was part of her decision. She didn't know if she wanted to work for a company like them at this point. They're such a mess that she didn't feel like she didn't morally feel like she wanted to work for Disney. And I'm like, well, then don't do it for me. I really wanted to get on Tron early, but
Hmm. Yeah.
don't work for them if you don't want to. And I agree. So again, we
Yeah.
don't have to talk about that, but I didn't want to ignore it. I
Yeah.
didn't want to be one of those people who just ignores things too.
Sure. Sure. I got it. So I guess to bottom line our discussion is that the magic isn't gone. The magic's a little less, and the upper management and corporate structure is trying to kill the magic
Yeah, they're
in
working on it.
favor of their fatter wallets and their big bonuses. But there, and to some degree, I guess the cast members aren't trained in the way that they used to train to live in Walt's legacy, and that's a big part of it. I think that's a huge part of it, John.
I can tell you a good way to bring the magic back would be stop going for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I live right next to it, so I keep going. But man, I really feel like if they began to lose customers, something might change. But I don't think
I
that's
think
going to
so.
happen. It seems to be the opposite. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But anyway, I can still find magic
Yeah, and I
in,
can
in
too, and
very
that's what I'm
odd
saying.
places. So yeah, keep
Yeah.
listening if you want to know the weird places. You can still find magic around
Yeah,
Disney.
right. That's
It's
right.
probably not at the Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios.
It's probably not, right?
Although I still love the People Mover, even with the new narration. Didn't
I
bother
you
me
know
at all.
what?
Fine.
We did an episode we did an episode not too long ago about finding other places that you can kind of find the magic
Mm-hmm.
in the different parks.
It's a
And
good
I
point.
find it like Tom Sawyer Island, places like that. And I think we've talked about that. You know, you go to the Country Bears Jamboree, you can go to different things that maybe aren't going to have these massive crowds that are going to give you some of that magic and maybe enrich your experience a little bit more
Oh,
in
you know
spite
where
of
you
that.
can go for magic too? Islands of Adventure at Universal Studios. I can still feel the
Well,
Disney magic
that's
there. It's
right.
not even
The
Disney, so
the laid off engineers took their anger and their
and
regret and turned
I
it
really
into a
hope I
great
really
park.
hope that Epic Universe is magical too. Because
I think
again,
it will be.
I don't want Disney World to go away, but I do want them to get shaken up a little for the benefit of
Yes.
all of us. Because
Competition is
if we
great.
keep going and they don't care, then that's where we're at. But Universal may offer an awesome alternative, which if they do,
Yes.
man, I hope I will be supporting that with my social media in a big way too. So I look forward to it.
Yeah,
I hope
100%.
it's half as good as I think it's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I really do. Looking at what they're doing, what they're planning, it's going to be awesome. So
Yep, and yeah, they don't use magic there, but
no,
it'll be
no,
epic.
they do other things. It's yeah, that's going to be epic. All right, John. So, how did your social media go for the week?
Well, it's been going all right. We were talking a little before the podcast. I made a post last night, and it took me like an hour to make. And for those of you watching, I can show you here. This was one. This was one that I would say was one of my best ones so far. I would say, like it really is. And so far, it's got 22,000 views, which honestly, for my account, is not that great. I have like 104,000 followers. To contrast it, how many followers do you have? Not many, like a couple
No,
hundred,
less than
200,
200.
less
Less
than
than
200.
200.
You put
Yes.
up a reel last night and you're in the 30,000 so
Right.
far. So again, 100,000 followers, 22,000 views, couple hundred followers, 30 some thousand views. So again, YouTube or Instagram is so weird. And they tend to do this to me. Like the more time I put in on something, and the better I know. Like I got some comments. Like one of the comments is, "This is the Disney World video I always hope to see, but never happened. So good, excellent work." It's like I got some comments that kind of lined up with what I was thinking. Like, wow, this is really good work for me. Like part of it was luck, part of it was I spent an hour putting it together, and I really thought it was great too. But again, it is average at best. Like it's not that great. And again, for an account with 100,000 followers, I get crap views. I know so many people who have a fraction of that
Yeah.
consistently get more
Look,
views than I do. So again,
yeah,
oh yeah, there's
this is mine from that has, a ton of views and all that, and it's just really not much to it. That's it. And it, like you said, it's not
no, it's a good video, but again, how long did it take you to make it?
yeah, I mean it took like 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. So I waste my time with that. But I did want to mention though, and this is more on the positive side. I've been doing really good with my 90-second videos on Fridays. And again, I said it's Friday, take 90 seconds, enjoy Expedition to Everest. So this is up to like 57,000 views, which, if I only had a couple thousand followers, that wouldn't be that good. But for somebody with 100, since we live in bizarro world and everything's reversed,
Yeah.
this is really great for me. More
Yeah.
than half of my followers actually saw it. So that one's doing good. So I'm up to like 104,500, which I'm happy that I'm back to slow growth again instead of absolutely nothing. Like it was such a push to get through. And I noticed too, I haven't been talking about my bonuses for a while. It's not on purpose. I just forgot with the new YouTube format and stuff. So far this month, and I'm a social media professional with over 100,000. So,
Yeah.
I made $202.90 on Instagram.
You're rich.
So, I'm doing
You
well.
you can retire from your day
I
job.
probably spent more than that in gas driving back and forth from the park.
I
But
bet you did.
so that I just wanted to let everybody know when you hit 100,000, Instagram treats you well.
I mean, with
Very
that $200, you bought that new iPhone, right?
Hey,
So
if we had 100,000 YouTube subscribers, we probably could live off that.
yeah, that would be a
Maybe not.
couple thousand, probably a couple $1,000
So
for each.
anyway, just so you know, I am invested in Instagram by 5 years, but they are a constant disappointment to me. And let's see. I think I did have another one too. Let me see what it looks like when I click on Reels here. Let's see. I know I had one that hit 1 million, but this was like after my bonus was over because they certainly would not let it hit 1 million while I was.
That's
Yeah,
just
there it is.
crazy.
I had 1
man.
million view, which was my fast motion Everest with a fast paced song behind it. That hit 1 million, but it really didn't take off till after a bonus period. So luckily,
Huh.
Instagram makes sure that they're not going to pay you a lot of money by delaying the reach. So again, I'm doing pretty good. I've got right here is these are older now, but 200,000, million, 100,000, 250,000. If I pick out the winners, it's not that bad. Like I can't complain. 140,000. This isn't my video though. That's a collaboration, which they seem to love when smaller people collaborate with me. It does better. So we need to try that again with you. You need to. I think I was going to tell you what you need to do, at least if you're collaborating with me, is make a shorter video.
That's what I was gonna do, like maybe one of those trending things, and see
Because
what
I
happens.
noticed with a lot of your videos, I like them. They're good, but
They're long.
but
Yeah.
they're too long because you got to think of scrolling by.
Yeah.
If something doesn't change after 2 seconds, most people go to the next thing. So you got to think you only have this much time to get their attention. So if it's the same thing, they're going to go, oh, I'm bored, flick.
Yeah.
You need to go different. And they go, ooh, wait a minute. Is that shiny keys? And then they watch and they don't turn it. You tend to stay too long, which is more the old fashioned video way. Like you present
like a YouTube.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're presenting a video. Instead, you're shaking keys. You should be going, look, done. And then you got to, and then the algorithm will say, that's awesome. They watched the whole thing. I'm going to push it further, which is that Halloween one was like that. You see how it was like 3 pieces. You go, something else, and it's done. They watch the whole thing, and if they watch the whole thing, they go push it to the next level. They watch the whole thing, So
it's a great point, and that's why I tried that. Just tried it up, but my tendency is to, go a little longer. But obviously that is not working. That doesn't work.
Yeah, going longer is great, but again, going longer, it works good for me. like when I do it once a week, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really get me growth as much as the people that already follow me really like it, you know.
Hmm.
Like that's all right. Now my universal, I'm at 102,000 followers with that. Unfortunately, that has slowed down drastically, just like my similar to my Disney one when it hit 100,000. Like it was on the upward trend, just up, 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 and then all of a sudden it said 100,000. It kind of stalled out and just slowly putters down. I'm hoping one of these updates to the algorithm, they say, well, how about the people who have been doing it for years that made it a certain way? Maybe we should let them succeed a little bit too. It's like I'm in that weird forgotten group of I don't have 10 million, but I'm also have a lot more than, a thousand. So
Yeah.
I'm in a weird spot. And I was going to say, luckily for me, I have two accounts. And I'm going to tell you what my bonus is for Instagram too. I can't show you on the computer. I don't know how to bring that up, or I would. My Universal account, $243 in bonus.
Hmm.
So again, that's not bad. If you
Yeah.
add the 243 plus the 200, that gets to be in car payment zone, like,
Right.
and I'm not joking about it. I'm not putting that down at all. But that is an awful lot of work to get to the parks, to get the videos, to post constantly in both of them accounts to get it. But again, I'm happy to do the grind, and hopefully it turns into something bigger someday. But just so you know, I have two separate accounts, over 100,000 each, and that's the kind of money I'm looking at. So a lot of
Yeah.
people have this in their head that when they get to this point, they're going to be rich, or they're going to do something, and they might. Some people, some people make a lot of money, and I didn't figure that out yet. I hope to. I didn't figure it out yet.
You need to become a brand ambassador for somebody. That's what it is.
Yeah, Disney. Nobody wants me for the brands, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And again, youth sells with that, so
Yes, you're right. You're
it's
right.
like what? Imagine my face pushing what exactly? It's like I don't know, but they don't want me, and they're all against discriminating in any way except unattractive people. It's like, nah, you're
Older
out. It's like,
folks and
come on. It's like that's the one way you can still, not be too nice to people.
how
But
did
yeah,
your how's your TikTok going? Because I'm kind of curious about that. You're seeing all this growth and stuff. And with TikTok, which also pays out, but it really is low, right? The pay rate for that is really low.
let's see if I'm logged into that. Oh, I am. Awesome. Let me see. On TikTok, um, I recently had another uptrend on TikTok. I'm up to 67,800 followers. And I have to tell you, my newest one that's doing pretty well, full ride on Splash Mountain.
Hmm.
And the reason I did that was I just did it yesterday. And I even wrote on there, I think I wrote, because I can, just because I can. That's why I put that up. And the reason I say that is they made 10-minute videos on TikTok. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's for everybody or just some people, but they told me I can make 10-minute videos. So
Yeah.
I looked in my phone and I'm like, well, I have a, a Splash Mountain video that's like 10 minutes and 30 seconds. I can adjust that a little. And again, it's only been there for less than a day. Excuse me. It's up to over 80,000. It's pretty good on a 10-minute video.
Mm-hmm. That is good.
But I was going to say, when it comes to long format, though, I would do it sparingly because I think they say, like with Instagram, The short videos are for growth because the algorithm pushes them. The longer ones are to sustain your audience. It satiates
Mhm.
their, they might think all you do is post these 10-second videos. And then I give them a 90-second, and they're like, "Ah, we love that, thanks." But that's probably not getting me new viewers, but it's keeping my existing ones happy.
Yeah.
So with TikTok, I don't know how it works, but I know it's new. And, I got a lot of comments on there about thanking me that they won't be able to get back and this and that. And so, people seemed happy that I did it.
That's cool. Yeah, I could see that. I could see why, that particular audience would enjoy that every once in a while, you know?
Yeah, I wanted to mention too that the difference too, like here is I did a Kevin video, 3,500 on TikTok.
Mhm.
And I wanted to show you, if I can, what it did on Instagram. And in this particular case, certain things do better in certain places, and Instagram did a lot better. Hmm. I don't know what it's doing now. It may not let me. But anyway, I'll just look on my phone. I just wanted to give an example because Kevin on Instagram versus Kevin on TikTok. And that's another thing that I've heard before. You should definitely post, if you make a video, use it for more than one, but make sure it's a fresh one. Like create it, recreate it. Don't
Mhm.
just copy the same video. I have 52,000 views on Instagram
Hmm.
and 3,500 on TikTok. So again, TikTok doesn't care for Kevin. Instagram likes Kevin. So
I don't know.
and that
TikTok, they just maybe there's just too many birds already on
I don't know. It
TikTok.
really does. And we talked before about YouTube as well. YouTube Shorts. I have YouTube Shorts that get like 7 views,
Yeah.
and then the next one gets 27,000 views, and then I get 11 views, 20 views, 15,000 views. It's like it's all over, but they don't seem to last long though. Like they're supposed to be evergreen too, but I don't. They're not on there. Like I rarely see a growth later. Like it happens and then it's done. So
Hmm.
again, Instagram or YouTube Shorts are supposed to be a thing coming up this next year. So they want to make it so you can actually make money doing it. So I'm trying to when I have a video and an idea, I create it on TikTok, I create it on YouTube Shorts, I create it on Instagram, and I do that because it varies a lot. You never know what's going to happen between the three. And yeah, the way Instagram treats me, I'm hoping to blow up on another site instead because as much as I try with Instagram, they're a constant source of disappointment for me too. So
Yeah. I could see you at some point switching if you got enough traction somewhere else,
oh yeah, if I
You'll
take off,
always do Instagram. Yeah, you'll always do Instagram, but I could see you putting more attention into TikTok. And I gotta say, since you started doing the TikTok thing, and then Reels came in, you've gotten really creative with your content, and that's given you an outlet to really use your creativity. I think that started again with TikTok when you went with it, and
yeah,
I'm not saying
definitely.
that's going to replace Instagram because the revenue isn't even close and the way it works, but it's just neat to see how it is working for you.
Oh, yeah, I could let people know that too. Um, just for fun, how much money am I making on TikTok? Because I make money there too. And all these numbers give you an idea as to why I need a real job and have a real job. Let's see. On the last one I have on 10/5, I made $1.46.
Wow.
In 10.4, I made 73 cents. 10.3, I made 51 cents. 10.2, I made 92 cents. So gives you an idea. I get some spare change every day from TikTok. Since I've been doing this, I have $432, but that's probably, I don't know, what, like a year or something.
Probably about a year.
It's a lot. I never took any money out of it. So I don't make enough money to do much of anything, but I don't know. I could probably subscribe to HBO Max or something. I do want to watch Game of Thrones. Maybe I'll do
Yeah,
that.
you could. You could watch the
I
what is it,
might get.
House of the Dragon or
Yeah, it's like
whatever.
$15 a month I'm getting from there. It'd be nice,
Yeah.
but then I got to pay taxes on it too. So we'll
Oh
see.
yeah.
I don't know if I can afford HBO Max and the taxes. I might be.
Yeah, you get walloped with the taxes.
Well, anyway, I like to let people know that because
Yeah.
you know, I literally have had people contact me wanting to know if I'm hiring and this and that, and I'm like, man, I wish I was. It would feel great to make enough money that I could hire
Yeah.
people to help me. My goodness, that would be awesome. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm working full time myself, and again, I'm trying to figure it out. If anybody has any ideas, let me know.
Yeah, any brands that
Uh, Even that, I heard brand deals are not the best thing.
Yeah.
They're limited in money. They're high maintenance. They're a lot of work. Half of them just try to give you some free stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
there's only so much stuff I need. So, and again, they tend to like
They
young
want to
people.
drive your narrative too. They want to direct you as to what you're going to post and things like that.
Yeah. There's certain companies I would do that with, but for the most part, like I did one once with the Fatheads, and the best I could think, like, all they didn't give me any money. They gave me a free wall decal. So I just picked one. And basically, it was before Christmas. So I posted a reel or picture of it or whatever. And I just said, if you're looking for a last minute um, gift idea for Disney fans, these are very unique thing to do. And I believe that. I didn't have to go out of my way.
Right.
If I was looking for a gift for a Disney fan, it was like Cinderella's castle that goes on the whole wall. It's pretty cool. I do think that would be a really unique, cool gift for somebody. And so I didn't feel bad doing it. But again, it really didn't do anything for me. I still have it out in my garage. I don't really want it. I don't know who to give it to. Nobody seemed to want it. My friend has a young daughter, and he's like, her wall is full. There's no room for it. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with it. It's so again, that's a brand deal. I got one.
I actually heard, I don't know if you've ever heard the Jordan Harbinger podcast, but he interviewed Shaquille O'Neal one time, and he's a good podcast. I would recommend anyone to listen to it, particularly if you have any interest, a general interest in people, celebrities, marketing, things like that. But he interviewed Shaq, and Shaq said he does not do any brand deals with anything that he wouldn't support, and everything that he does, he uses. So the general insurance that he does stuff for, he does it because he uses it icy hot. He uses that stuff. So he's a great guy. Everything he
He's a great
does,
businessman, though,
he
too.
is. Yeah.
But you don't expect a basketball player and a businessman, because sports people and business people are usually not the same. But man, Shaq is smart.
He is, and he's great. His
I
background
definitely take
is
advice from him. He's one of the most successful people ever. He's been in
absolutely.
movies. He's awesome at basketball. Just an all around fun, friendly, likable guy.
Rapper, a movie star.
I don't think I ever met anybody who's like, I hate that Shaq guy.
Yeah, nobody, right. Ever. Nobody says that. Who says that?
So, I've never heard anybody say, "Oh, there's one guy I can't stand."
It's that Shaq.
Everybody likes him. And he's everywhere. So if someone didn't like him, get out.
You would, absolutely. All right, John, how can they find you online?
You can find me at SeeWDW on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, SeeWDW on YouTube, C.UO on Instagram and Facebook. And I think that's it.
All right. You can find me at the Giant Rat, THEE Giant Rat, on Instagram and on TikTok. And that should do it for this week. We will see you on the next one.